Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Salakia. Hey, Shalom, Israel. We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. This is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. You know what I mean? Where we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans brotherhood and how to love one another. You know what I mean? Especially right now. You know what I mean? You see the things that's going on in the news. I don't know if y'all brothers, you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all brothers is paying attention, brothers and sisters. Y'all paying attention to what's going on, you know what I mean, in Chicago, going on with ICE, going on with Trump, going on with these pseudo politicians, Charlie Kirk, Joel Webbin, you know what I mean, or these Charlie Kirk, you know what I mean, mini-me's. But your oppressor is showing day by day how much they hate you. And they are drawing the line in the sand. The Lord is drawing the line in the sand. And it is becoming more and more difficult for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to continue to play the fence. Where we were taught to love everybody, God loves everybody, so we gotta love everybody. We gotta love our oppressor, no matter how much they beat us, no matter how much they kidnap us, no matter how much they take our lives. You know what I mean? But right now, what you see what's going on, the Lord is drawing the line in the sand where now you gotta pick a side. And your oppressors, as you can see, have already picked a side. A shalom, Lord in Christ. Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahushua Barakatah. I see you, Ian, checking in out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Most High in Christ. Go ahead, stick around, man. If you got any questions, you could go ahead and put them in the chat as well. All right. I mean, today, the Tuesday night brotherhood class. Right now, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need brotherhood more than ever. I mean, more than you ever thought. Because we share this class, and as you know what I mean, as I'm sharing, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your loved ones, your friends, your cousins, your uncles, you know what I mean, even your enemies, even the people that you consider your enemies that disagree with you, even your hecklers. You know what I mean? I know some hecklers up in here. I'm waiting for you hecklers to get up in here and start checking in and talking your mess. You know what I mean? Go ahead, come up in here, but share it with your loved ones and all of that. Share it with the people that agree with you or disagree with you. You know what I mean? And if you happen to be watching this class and we not live, or you watching any class in Killeen, Texas, and it's not live, you can hit that QR code in that top corner over there. And morning, noon, and night, there'll be a brother in that chat to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. If you want your problem solved and your questions answered. Now, if you don't want your problem solved or you answer questions, or you don't have any questions, or you don't have any problems, you know what I mean, then you know what I mean, that's between you and the Lord. But I'm sure Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have plenty of problems, especially when I look on social media today and I see ICE agents pulling up in budget rental trucks. You know anything about the Itazaka bar? You know what I mean? We got Itazaka bar in the building. You know what I mean? We got you know what I mean? You know anything about that Itazaka bar? Oh, go ahead. God.
Con on the one con. I seen a couple clips on. social media about it.
Yeah, they pulling up and they ain't even. It's so crazy that they not even hiding it no more. Like it'll be one thing if they was pulling up in you know what I mean, in government, in official government vehicles. They pulling up in budget rental trucks. Like you could go to budget rental right now. You go to Avis right now and get you a box truck. You know that? You go to U-Haul. You ever see a U-Haul van, U-Haul box truck?
Kind of one kind.
Any Joe, all you need is a driver's license. All right. What Ian said was absolutely correct, man. Man, he said Charlie Kirk don't do jack for the black, Hispanic, and Native American communities. The fake Jews are trying to take over the world. You know what I mean? Both of those things that you said was absolutely true. But what you got to understand, uh, what you did. This is the point right here. We need to join together, fight, and protect ourselves, loved ones, and communities. Yeah, that's the point right there. You know what I mean? Where your oppressor, especially your oppressors like Charlie Kirk, Joel Webbin, who is saying that you know what I mean, black people are overtly and innately dangerous, and that we should be thankful that white slave ships pulled up on the shores of America. You know what I mean, and stole this land from Native Americans and Hispanics and brought so-called African Americans over here, saying that we should be thankful. You know what I mean? They have always been our enemy, and you know what I mean, they never cared about us. It was never their job to care about us and do anything for black communities. Where we go wrong is we want to fight alone. What you said was heavy, Ian. You know what I mean? Where where we try to we should definitely fight and protect our own, but where we go wrong is we try to do it by ourselves. What we got to do is do it according to what the Lord said, because the reason why we in this condition in the first place. Let's go ahead and get that Ita Zagabar. Just real quick, just a refresher. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 1 real quick. And the whole point, the whole reason why we in this condition in the first place is because we tried to fight the way we wanted to. You know what I mean? You look at the Black Panther movement, you look at the FBA, the Foundational Black Americans, you know what I mean, who try to exclude Hispanics and Native Americans and Caribbeans and Haitians from being so-called black people. What else? You got what I say, Black Panthers already, the what's the Muslim movement? The Islam, the Nation of Islam. You know what I mean? Uh you had the NFAC. I don't know if you're familiar with these organizations, but you know what I mean, the Not Effing Around Coalition. I mean, we got I know you in Cincinnati. I don't know if you heard, but in Lincoln Heights, they got a whole militia group who's doing exactly. They got a whole militia group out there that's outfitted in military uniform. They got the tactical vests. They walking around with rifles and masks. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a group that's to counteract ICE agents and police brutality and white supremacy and you know what I mean, the things that you've seen, the blatant racism that you've seen, people flying swastika flags and Confederate flags and all of that, uh, terrorizing black folks in their neighborhoods. But one thing that they all had in common is that they did not subscribe to these laws, statutes, and commandments. That the Most High warned us that if we deviated from those things, that we would suffer all these curses. We would suffer, you know what I mean, our children being snatched away from us. We would suffer being under this evil, wicked oppressor who is no nation. You know what I mean? Uh, we would suffer being put into slavery again by way of ships. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that all of those factions have in common, and the only thing, the main key component is for us to come back to this Bible. That's the main key component. Go ahead and read what you got, Ita Zagabar.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So this is the part that we missing right here. So the Most High gave us these instructions. He said, if we will listen, if we just listen to the Most High, he gave us the blueprint. He gave us the blueprint from the beginning. He said, if we just follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, and they not hard to do, they real simple. Just don't steal from each other. You don't sleep with my woman, and I won't sleep with your woman. You know what I mean? Don't serve these other nations' gods because they gods is they fake. They don't even exist. They're wood and stone. Just be loyal to the one true living God, which is the Most High God Yahweh. You know what I mean? Don't steal from one another. Don't take one another's lives. If you got a problem with a brother, go to that brother between you and him alone, and y'all iron it out. And if y'all can't iron it out between yourselves, then take it to council. These are simple rules that will make society better for not only ourselves, but the nations around us. And if we listen to these laws, statutes, and commandments and follow them, you know what I mean? Then the Lord God will set us up. Read that last sentence again.
Con, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
That's the end game. If we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, it also says in Deuteronomy chapter I believe it's chapter 4 and verse 6. You know what I mean? That these laws, statutes, and commandments are our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the other nations. So if we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, then we will be wise and we will be fit to rule above all nations upon the face of the earth. But go ahead, drop down to verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Yep. See, this is the point right here. You cannot have brotherhood and not follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. I don't care who you are. I don't care what religion that you claim to be a part of. If you say that you love your brothers, if you claim that you are down for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Black Lives Matter and black and brown unity and all of that, but you don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High God gave to the nation of Israel, which is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, then you don't have brotherhood. And if you can understand that, then if you can understand that simple part, then we can get the hell out of this hell. Aren't you tired of, you know what I mean, being fearful every time the police pull up behind you, whether they turn the lights on or not? You know what I mean? Aren't you tired of being fearful of sending your children to school because you don't know whether some damn maniac, some Edomite is gonna run up in there and shoot up the school? You tired of having to join your oppressor's military? Your oppressor's military oppress you day in and day out. You know what I mean? Your oppressor's police force oppress you day in and day out. But then when you grow up and you get older, you got bills and you got children and you got, you know what I mean? You trying to find your way through life. To put a quick buck in your pocket, you got to join the military. That same military that's oppressing brothers and sisters in Chicago and in DC and in Houston and, you know what I mean, and in Cincinnati. You got to join that same military. You got to join that same police force. Aren't we tired of that? Then let's come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Let's come back to our culture. This is the one thing that we haven't tried. I mean, we tried being a Muslim. We tried being Hindu. We tried being Buddhist. We tried being gangbangers. We tried being drug dealers. We tried our sisters and tried being strippers and OnlyFans and you know what I mean? We done tried all these things. We done tried all these things. And they not working for us, man. They landing us in the exact same spot, man. But this is the only thing we haven't tried. The thing that the Most High told us to keep from the beginning. And if we never deviate from it, then we will be set on high above all nations. You know what I mean? We tried equality. We tried being equal and loving everybody. You know what I mean? Loving all these other nations. You know what I mean? We tried interracial marrying. We tried all of that. The one thing we haven't tried is letting the Most High put us on top of all nations so that we can rule righteously. Right? That brings us to the topic of the class. I mean, you can't have brotherhood without being sincere. If you're gonna be, if you look around and you see the condition of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, if you really want to lock you, Mike, Salaki. I'm just trying to see what Salaki. But if you want to get up out of this hell, you know what I mean? You see what's going on in all these different cities and how we getting thrown in the back of U-Haul vans and budget trucks. You know what I mean? A box truck that all you need is a driver's license. You ain't even got to be a good driver. You know what I mean? All you need is a valid driver's license, and that's really it. And about all you need is a valid driver's license and about $70, $60. And you got you a budget truck. You got you a U-Haul van. And you know what I mean? You let ICE take authority, or you let ICE tell it, you let Trump tell it. Now you can pull up in black neighborhoods, black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods with some zip ties and zip tie children and throw them in the back of that budget truck. But right now is when blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are gonna have to be sincere. Go ahead, give me the lock. Just bear with me 1 second. Salakia. Go to John, 1 John, Salakia. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 18.
The book of
Salakia. Go ahead, read what you got. I'm gonna go ahead and pull on the screen as well.
The book of 1 John chapter 3 verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue.
Let us not do what?
Let us not love in word, neither in tongue.
See, for so long, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you ask any black, Hispanic, and Native American, they're gonna be like, oh, I love black people. I love black people. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, you're black, brown, black, Hispanic, and Native Americans unite, this, that, and the third. Oh, I love Hispanic. I love everybody. That's the one. You know what I mean? You ask any black, Hispanic, and Native American, oh, do you love black people? Oh, I love everybody. We so full of love, right? But read that again.
My little children, let us not love in word.
Let us not love in word. See, your words, it's easy to say, oh, I love everybody. It's easy to say I love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And I see what's going on with you know what I mean, and what ICE is doing and what the police force and the military and what Trump is doing against black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. It's easy to be like, oh, I see what Charlie Kirk is saying against black, Hispanic, and Native Americans and what Joe Webbin is saying against black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's easy to say those things and say that it's wrong. But go ahead. But it says, let us not like it. Let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but what?
But in deed and in truth.
You know what that means, Actor Zagabar?
Kind of one kind.
Go ahead and break it down.
Deed, that'll be action. And truth will be not a lie.
Absolutely. That's as simple as you could put it. You're gonna have to do something. And what the only thing that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can do, or the first thing that you can do, is follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the first thing that you're gonna have to do. Is, you know what I mean, not sell. Not sell drugs to your brother, your sister. You claim that you love them. You know what I mean? You claim that you love Hispanics, but then try to separate yourselves from Hispanics when it's come times for you to try to get some reparations, like the FBA tried to do a couple months ago. You know what I mean? Well, you can't. You know what I mean? You can't celebrate. You can't say you love the Native Americans and then celebrate Thanksgiving that's coming up. You know what I mean? You can't say that you love Christ, you love black people, but then celebrate Christmas, which has nothing to do with Christ. You know what I mean? You can't say that you love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but then you go and marry a white man or a white woman or any other man or woman outside of your nation. You can't claim that you love your brothers and your sisters and then subscribe to the LGBTQ community or support the LGBTQ community or support what's the word? Unaliving, sisters unaliving their children in the womb. You can't claim that you love your people and do all of these things, man. So to love your brother and your sisters, to love Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you gotta keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you have to do it. Read that last part again.
Con, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
You're gonna have to do it in deed and in truth, man. You're gonna have to do something. It's gonna be something that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to make a sacrifice. You're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to become a new creature. You're not gonna be able to be the same old self that you've been. How you gonna protect and love your own brothers and sisters and you high? You got a tobacco addiction. You addicted to whores, or you addicted to you an alcoholic. How you gonna love? How you gonna love and fight for your brothers and sisters? You got all these problems yourself, man. The first thing you're gonna have to do is change yourself by following this culture that's been given to us in this Bible, man. That's the first thing. Lock it. Lock it. 1 second. Let's go ahead to Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6 and 12. Let's start there.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Go up one verse, Salaki.
Verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the wiles of the devil.
You know what wiles are?
La'ah.
Go ahead and just look it up. And this is gonna be very important because again, like we just read in First John, you can't just say that you love the Lord. You can't just say you love the Lord. You can't just say you love Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There's something that you're gonna have to do because the Lord is drawing a line in the sand, and it's becoming more and more difficult. It's becoming more and more difficult to play the fence. You know what I mean? Becoming more and more difficult for you to play both sides. And you've seen it with your oppressor. Like your oppressor, I don't know if y'all notice on social media, you see these Trump rallies, you see these, these pseudo Charlie Kirks emerging, trying to replicate what he was doing and saying in his career, in his short career. But they becoming more and more bold. They becoming more and more bold, more and more overtly against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You familiar with the term dog whistle politics?
I know.
You know what a dog whistle is?
Yeah, the one that you really can't hear. Only dogs supposed to.
Yeah, you can't hear it at all. But it's a whistle that that plays at a certain frequency that only dogs can hear, but a human can't hear it. So dog whistle politics is basically certain things are said to rile up an alert or basically to rile up a certain demographic of people to where only that demographic of people understands what's being said. Right. So like for example, let me think. Like at I believe it was Charlie Kirk's what was it? Funeral, I guess. Where somebody said the light will preserve or the light will overcome the darkness. You know what I mean? Now, to the naked ear, you know what I mean, that just sounds like, you know what I mean, just somebody trying to encourage that could mean everybody. That could mean just good and evil. But if you understand what Charlie Kirk stood for, if you understand what Trump stands for and who he stands against, you know he's talking about our oppressor. He's saying that our oppressor is going to overcome blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? But that's how our oppressor used to talk. They used to say, this is a perfect example. You take the Constitution where it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. That was written in 1776. And it said all men are created equal. But in 1776, were all men equal?
Law.
See, that's a perfect example of, you know what I mean, where they used to at least cover up, you know what I mean, they racism, where they would say, oh, all men are created equal, and then you on the field picking cotton. But now they just outright just saying, as a matter of fact, let me play this real quick. Let me see if I can sit this. What you got? You want to say something? Hey, no, so it's gonna take me a minute. Go ahead, say what you gonna say. I gotta find it, or I gotta find an email. Bear with me 1 second. What you got? Go ahead.
No, it's heavy. The pick a side thing that you're bringing out, because most of these people are coming out so that they can, well, from what I'm looking at it, they don't want to be an example. I guess they want to continue to side with Trump and his political standpoints, to keep getting the government funding and to keep getting so they won't get exploited or whatnot through the president. Salaki.
I mean, that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be, where you would have to speak a certain way, where not only would you be able to get backed by you know what I mean, politicians, and there's plausible deniability, but you would also get the support from the people that you plan to hurt. Like right now, you see like Donald Trump, man, Donald J. Trump, he did more than a little bit. He did more than a little bit to, but he did more than a little bit to incriminate himself. You know what I mean? The felonies aside, he's a 34 count felon. He's a 34 count felon, yet he was able to be elected as president. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you got a misdemeanor. You could barely work at McDonald's. You know what I mean? But he's a 34 count felon. He's a known you know what I mean, it's all sorts of words I can't even say. He's a known child, you know what I mean, abuser. They call them PDF files now. He's a known womanizer, and what's the word? He's a known predator. Let's just say that. You know what I mean, where his slogan, I mean, before he served his first term, you know what I mean, it was all over the internet that he was on, you know what I mean, he was, you know what I mean, with Epstein talking about grab him by the box, grabbing women by their box, and they don't care. They don't, you know what I mean, when you rich and you a superstar like him, you could just grab them. You could walk up to them and just grab them, you know what I mean, by their parts. And yet and still, not only did he become the president, but he was, like, not only is he the president, but he this is the second term. You know what I mean? With that reputation. And I said all that to say, you You know what I mean? Like you said, you know what I mean? Not only did they at one point have to speak in a certain way to get backed by, you know what I mean, politicians and things like that, but you would also get the support of the people that you plan on hurting. Like Trump got that reputation, and you see brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, Hispanics and blacks, Hispanics and Native Americans walking around talking about lock you. Walking around talking about what's it called? What's the Make America Great Again? And I support Trump. I saw a brother, I know you in the chat. I saw a brother in HEB the other day. I think it was yesterday. This brother, after we just saw video footage of ICE in them budget trucks, them $60 rental vans that you could get. You know what I mean? You could be any Joe and get one of them rental vans. You know what I mean? They scooping up, they kicking in black people's doors and pulling them out their houses and zip tying their children and throwing them in the back of a budget van. After that footage came out, you got black people walking around with shirts that say, I stand with ICE. Stand with ICE for what? You know what I mean? So that's how people used to have to talk to get the support of the people that they hurting. But now black people or your oppressor is becoming overtly racist against black people. And they'll just say things that are just absolutely not true, absolutely just hateful and racist towards so-called black people. Let me see, let me make sure this is gonna play. Here we go.
We're talking about when you go into a crowd, if you go into a crowd of strangers, and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there's 30 times more danger. If you're a Christian white parent who loves your children, then you need to have a talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children, plays very true, prophets on the book of time, and says, there is and there are certain people that you cannot be right.
Good night. You hear what that pastor just said? You gonna run it back?
No, Salagi. Count on one come.
I'll play it one more time. Good night.
If there's someone who is black in our church, and they meet in our church, and we know them, we love them, great. We're not talking about that person. We're talking about when you go into a crowd, if you go into a crowd of strangers, and they're white strangers, there's some danger.
Right.
So black strangers, there's 30 times more danger.
So he's saying that if you around white people, you in a crowd of white people that you don't know, there's some danger, right? That's the same thing that Charlie Kirk thought, right? You know what I mean? Well, actually, he thought that he was safe around them white folks. But then he said, if you in a crowd of black people that you don't know, there's 30 times more danger. That's the exact same thing that Charlie Kirk thought before his life was taken by his own people. You know what I mean? So we go to that Christian church and we learn that God loves everybody. We learn about this it's the white Jesus hanging on every wall, even though in the Bible Christ is described to be black. You know what I mean? You learn all these lies in that Christian church. You learn that you should turn the other cheek and forgive. You know what I mean? And then they go home and have the talk with their children. Listen to what he say. You need to have the talk with your children. Let's find out what the talk is. This is why you want to love everybody, why you think that your oppressor is absolutely harmless and that you're safe and that their neighborhoods are better and that their schools are better and that their establishments are better and that voting for them in their political system and joining their police force and their military, you think that they're better? This is what they're going home and telling their children about you. Mm. Now imagine that. Imagine being a people, right? Imagine being a people that builds your entire establishment, builds your entire country on the backs of slavery, robbing the Native Americans of the land, lying to them about 700 plus treaties that you will make with them after they just showed you nothing but kindness. You go around the entire world pillaging and robbing and starting wars and stealing and manipulating and doing all these diabolical things to everybody, who just minding their business. And then you go home after a full day of mass incarceration and lying and doing all these diabolical things, and you go home and tell your children that black people are the monsters. You going into a black neighborhood and gentrify their whole neighborhood, and just destroying families. You pulling up in you pulling up in mask and riot gear and budget rental trucks and throwing children in the back of rental trucks. Slamming teenagers on the hood of cars for crimes that they didn't even commit, taking lives of young children for playing in the park with toy guns like they did to Tamir Rice. And then after a long day of doing all of those diabolical things, you go home and tell your children that black people are the monsters. Your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Straight up and down. All right, where we was at? We was in Ephesians, right? Ephesians chapter 6 and verse you start at 11 again. And this is why it's so important to be sincere right now. It's so important to be sincere right now. If you was never sincere before, no sweat. If you was if you was never sincere before about serving the Lord, right now is the time to lock in. To stay locked in, man. Because, well, we're gonna go ahead and go ahead and read what you got.
Put on the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
See, the whole point of putting on the whole armor of God is so that you can stand against the wiles. Did you ever look up the word wiles?
Go ahead
and read that for us, Bob the Shop.
Manipulating or persuading someone to do what one wants. Tricks, plows, to lure or entice.
All right, so let's just use the synonym tricks, right? Just for simplicity's sake, right? So, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the tricks of the devil. See, in this hell, like we said before, your oppressor is going to tell you to love everybody. And then they're going to go home and teach their children to hate you. Even though you were so kind to them, you've been so kind to them since the beginning, since those ships pulled up on the shores of America, and stole this land from the Native Americans. The Native Americans were so kind to the Europeans, to the Spaniards, to the French and to the Germans and to the Russians. And they go home and teach their children to hate you. They see your kindness and then they go home and say they will make perfect slaves. So for you to be able to stand against the tricks of your oppressor, who is the devil the Bible speaks of, you have to be absolutely sincere. And to be sincere, you got to put on the whole armor of God. You got to understand this Bible. You gotta come to class. Get in all black, man. Get in all black. Come to class and learn your culture. Not like how Christianity taught you. But you got to learn your culture and learn who your enemy is and learn who your people is. I mean, and it's so important because even when you come in the truth, like a lot of times we can't see what's right in front of our faces because, I mean, Christianity has taught us to be blind to the blatant danger that we in. Like, I don't know if you noticed Aitas Bar, but like a lot of times General Muhammad, you know what I mean, if you ain't tuned in to General Muhammad's class, you know what I mean, every week, you know what I mean, you absolutely should Monday night and Thursday night. But he'll ask a brother a question. He'll ask brothers and sisters questions. Like I believe this last class he did in California, he asked about remember the trend where sisters was saying brothers was asking sisters, who would you rather be trapped in the woods with? Yeah, what was it, a bear or a man? Yeah, a black man or a bear. What was the sister saying?
90% of them said the bear.
Uh-huh. Now, General Muhammad asked, why do you think that they saying the bear? And brothers was giving answers, sisters was giving answers, and they just couldn't get it. You know what I mean? I was watching it, I couldn't get it. But a lot of times, because we so sincere, when we come into the truth, we so sincere that we think everybody's sincere. And that's the wiles of the devil that we're reading about right here in Ephesians. You know what I mean? Or you see in that Christian church across the street, you see that the Christian church is full of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we look at that Christian church a lot of times and we think if only they knew that your oppressor, the devil, the Bible speaks of, and that you know what I mean, we the Israelites according to the Bible, then we could get them out of that Christian church. You know what I mean? That's what we think. But the reason why there's so many of our people in that Christian church is because they not sincere. And that's what you got to understand, bro. That's what you got to understand. But for you to be able to understand that, you got to put some wisdom in you. And you get this wisdom out of this Bible by putting on the entire armor of God. Go ahead and read verse 12.
Another one, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
See, a lot of times, because the reason why we not able to see, the reason why we're not able to see certain things that's right in our face is because we think that, like, we thinking flesh and blood, like we thinking carnally. You know what I mean? That's what flesh and blood is, you know what I mean, talking about. We thinking carnally. But we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. You know what I mean? A lot of times when we see ICE, you know what I mean, ICE raids and, you know what I mean, police brutality and things like that, your oppressor just being violent against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we think all we got to do is just get more guns. All we got to do is do more push-ups. All we got to do is learn karate or something, or learn how to box. And all of those things is cool, but those things ain't gonna help you against this part right here. Go ahead and read the rest of that. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what?
But against principalities.
See, you learning how to, I mean, you could get all the guns that you, I mean, if you could get a gun legally, if you get firearms and you know what I mean, ammo and all of that legally, you know what I mean, in your state, in your city, you know what I mean, by all means, get all those things. You should train as well. You know what I mean? Learn how to fight, learn how to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Get yourself some food or some water for emergencies or whatever the case is. But those things are not going to help you against principalities. You know what I mean? Against, go ahead.
Against powers. Against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
See, you knowing how to throw a punch is not going to dismantle slavery. It's not going to dismantle racism. It's not going to dismantle ICE. It's not going to dismantle the massive funding that these principalities is receiving to oppress Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You knowing how to throw a punch, you knowing how to shoot a firearm is not going to get your oppressor's foot off your neck. I mean, But you got to have some wisdom in you. I mean, you're gonna need help from a stronger power. You fighting against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You're gonna need a stronger power to be on your side. And the only way for you to get that Black, Hispanic, and Native American man is for you to come back to your culture and be sincere in following the Most High God. Let me get this real quick. Real quick. Unlock you. Bear with me just 1 second. Let's go to Luke 16 real quick. Luke 16, you can start first verse.
The book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 1. And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
All right, so real quick, I'm gonna ask you this question, Zakabar. Why you think? We this is the home of the truth, and a good 50 feet away across the street, there's about 50 yards away across the street, there's a Christian church. Right next door, there's another Christian church. And even though this is the home of the truth, well, we just teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to love one another. We teach that the Lord will put you on high above all nations of people upon the face of the earth if you just keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. But despite that, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still filling up the Christian church. Why do you think that is, Atiza? And anybody online, you can feel free to answer. Give you a second. You got anything, Atiza?
I'm trying.
All right, no sweat. All right, no sweat. Let's go ahead and read this then. Read that from the top again.
Con of the one con.
I want to see who locked in, because I did get an answer out earlier, but we'll go into it a little deeper. Go ahead and read that.
And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
So this is a parable that Christ is telling his disciples. And there was a rich man who had a steward. You know what I mean? And this steward was wasting his master's goods. Right? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 2. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thee stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward.
So this master is hearing that this servant is wasting his goods, and he's calling for a report. Either give a report of your stewardship, give a report of what you've been doing, because you about to lose your job. Let's see what this servant do. Now in this metaphor, you know who the master is, right? Just so we clear. Real quick before you answer that, Ian said, so the question was, why do you think the Christian churches, even though the ISUPK been teaching the truth according to the Bible since 1969, why do you think that these churches are still full of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? That's the question. So even though we teaching that if you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, that the Most High will put you in rulership and you won't be a slave anymore. the children of the slaves are still going to our oppressor's church. Why do you think that is? Let's see what your I give you a second to answer. You can answer that at any time. You was about to say something, or like I forget, or you was just reading a verse. Oh, I asked you a question. You know who the master is? It's the Most High in this case, right? The Most High. Most High is the. And by the way, just to be clear, Christ is not the Most High. Just to be clear, but in this parable, the master, the rich man, rather, I believe it says rich man, is the Most High. And so, if what were you about to say?
Now we'll answer the question from earlier.
Okay, no sweat. Let me see what the brother got in the chat before I let you answer again. So the Most High is the master. So who's the steward or the servant?
Yahweh Shai. With the disciples.
Well, this is talking about. Remember, this is talking about. You read a verse. Read verse 1 again.
And he said also to his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward. And
so the rich man is the Most High, and he had a steward. Go ahead.
And the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
So you understand what that last sentence means? There was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused to him that he had wasted his goods. You know what that's talking about? The steward is wasting this rich man's goods. So remember that about the steward when you answer this question. You want to give it another shot? Yeah, stop. I do that. All right. And anybody in the chat as well, you can answer that question. All right. So if the Most High is the master, and there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same, which is the steward, right? The same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. All right. And he called him. So I'll go ahead and give it to y'all. The steward is your so-called religious leaders, your TD Jakes, your Tyler Perry's, your Creflo Dollars, your Joel Osteen, anybody who claims to be the authority or the leaders of, you know what I mean, who claim to be the biblical authority, who claim to teach the Bible, right? The heads of these Christian churches, your pastors, your deacons, your all of that. You know what I mean? That's who the steward is. But the problem about the steward is that they're wasting the Most High's goods. Now, what's the Most High's goods? The Most High's goods is his people, his children. You know what I mean? His nation of people who the Christian pastors are supposed to be teaching. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. Locked in. But these let me go back to it real quick. The verse 2, he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. So these Christian pastors are going to be removed from the, you know what I mean, the service that they claim to do for the Most High. You know what I mean? They claim to be servants of the Lord. You know what I mean? You'll never go to a Christian pastor. You'll never go inside a Christian church where the Christian pastor, the man or the woman, because nowadays they got they got women in the pulpit now, which ain't nothing against our sisters, ain't nothing against women, but the Most High said that he suffers not a woman to teach. That a man is supposed to hold that office of priest. But you'll never go into a Christian church and see a man or a woman in that pulpit and they won't call themselves a servant of the Lord. But the thing is, they sitting in that pulpit and claiming to be servants of the Lord. They claim to, teach the Bible and be a shepherd to the people. But like this parable is saying, they're spoiling, even though they claim to be servants of the Lord, they're spoiling the Most High's good. All right, so just to catch you up real quick, Aitazah, I'm gonna go back to verse 1. All right, I'm gonna read it. So it says, and he said also unto the disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward. So the rich man is the Most High, right? The steward is did you already well, I think that's where we left off. The steward is your Christian pastors, right? So a steward is like a servant. And your Christian pastors claim to, serve the Lord, right? Do they not? I don't know about you, but I've never gone in a Christian church and heard anybody behind that pulpit that say that they not a servant of the Most High God. They claim to be servants of the Most High God, but in this parable, it says the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. So these Christian pastors that claim to serve the Lord, they're wasting the Lord's goods. Now, you know what the Lord's goods is, Aitazah?
Con on one con.
What's that?
His laws, statutes, and commandments that he gave us.
Well, not quite. His What's the whole Bible about? What is it about?
The history of blacks, Native Hispanics, and so like the history of blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics.
Who are
God's chosen people.
Right. And what's the name of the nation?
Israel.
Right. So who are the Lord's goods? Or I just gave it to you. What are the Lord's goods? Like, you go ahead.
Israel,
his nation, his people, the people that he chose. So in this parable, your Christian pastors are spoiling the Lord's goods, which is his people that he chose. Right? You with me so far?
Con on one con.
All right. Verse 2, and he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? So this rich man in this parable is chastising his steward. It's saying, how is it that I hear that you wasted my goods? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. So he found out, or he's getting a report that the steward is wasting his goods. So he like, I'm about to remove you. So give a report. All right. Now let's see what happens. Now you can go ahead and read from here, verse 3.
Kind of one con, verse 3. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from thee stewardship. I cannot dig to beg. I am ashamed.
All right. So a Christian, you know how a Christian pastor makes his money and maintains his livelihood. You see a Christian pastor with that 3-piece suit and them Stacey Adams shoes and that Rolls Royce or whatever fly car he driving. You know what I mean? How you think he getting all that money? And anybody in the chat, feel free to participate as well. You go ahead and just type your answer in the chat. No matter if you heard the answer already or not. If somebody already said it, just go ahead and get it in here. What you got, Aitazah?
By getting over on people.
Getting over on who? Be specific.
Israel.
How? You've been in a Christian church, right?
By passing around a collection plate.
So they get you all hyped up with emotion. They playing the instruments and the organ and the drums and the keyboard and all of that. They get you all hyped up on emotion. They get to stomping around, singing, dancing, and then before you know it, everybody just in there just stomping around. And then They pass around that collection plate, and then they collecting your money. You know what I mean? Telling you what you want to hear. They want to tell you that God loves everybody and God loves you and God loves the sinner and hates the sin and this, that, and the third. And you know what I mean? What's the old boy name in Atlanta? Philip Mitchell and something. I don't know what the hell his name is. But he talking about Christ wasn't a black man. You know what I mean? He'll tell you, these Christian pastors will tell you anything to you know what I mean, to get that money up out of you. A shalom, little Christ sister, the water for checking in. You know what I mean? But that's how they getting paid. They lull you to sleep. They hype you up with emotion so that you give up that money. What was her name? Kimberly Daniels. Uh, and what's his name? Marvin Sapp. They both did something similar. Where they go into the Christian church and then they just be like, "It's 20,000 in here right now. I already know y'all got it. Y'all got it. Go ahead, put it in the box. I know y'all got it in here. If you don't got it, you don't love the Lord. If you got it and you don't give it, you don't love the Lord." You know what I mean? Marvin Sapp, remember that? Lock the doors, close the doors. Remember that? Like that?
Kind of the one kind.
He said, close the doors. He said, y'all not leaving until you call for $40,000 right now. You know what I mean? That's how they do you in that Christian church. But if they get removed from their stewardship, then how would they eat? How would they maintain their livelihood? I mean, can you imagine Marvin Sapp and Kimberly Daniels, you know what I mean, going to work at Amazon with you? You know what I mean? Going to work at Tesla with you, going to drive Uber. You know what I mean? You go and call an Uber, you know what I mean? And Marvin Sapp pull up next to you. Tyler Perry pull up and pick you up in an Uber. You know what I mean? They not doing that. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, that I may receive.
What? Peep this real quick, Ike. He said, "I am resolved what to do, that if I'm put out the stewardship." What did that say?
That when I am put out the stewardship.
It emphasized that when.
Salakia. That when I am put out of the stewardship.
So it's not even a question whether he's wasting the Lord's goods. That's these Christian pastors. It's not even a question whether they are being insincere about serving the Lord. They like, hey, I know I ain't been serving the Lord with sincerity. I know that I've been telling lies. I know that I've been swindling these people out of their money. You know what I mean? And out of their emotions. You know what I mean? Lord, you know what I mean? A lot of these Christian churches, these Catholic churches, they, you know what I mean, having their way with your women and your children. And they know they're doing dead wrong. So it ain't even no question. Like, I'm gonna get his report and hopefully he see that I ain't been doing that bad. He said, when I am put out of the stewardship, meaning when these Christian pastors teach you lies, they know exactly what they doing. Go ahead, read on. Now we getting up on a question. Why is these Christian churches so full? You know what I mean? Anybody? You said you wanted to give it a shot. You want to give it a shot now, or you want to finish reading this?
I'll finish reading.
Okay, most of Christ. But now we getting up to the question. Why are these, even though these Christian pastors are teaching you lies, even though these Christian pastors are robbing you, they locking the doors, close the doors, and you can't leave. They got security at the door, making sure you don't leave until he get 40,000 out of everybody in the church. And even though all of these things is happening in that Christian church, these Christian churches are still full. These Christian churches are getting bigger and bigger. They got mega churches. You know what I mean? Why is that? Even though they clearly lying and they know that they lying, and we know that they lying, why are they still getting filled up? All right, go ahead, read on.
They may receive me in their houses. Verse 5. So he called every one of his lords debtors unto him.
And so he called his lords debtors unto him. You know what I mean? So the steward called the masters debtors. You know what a debtor is?
So like law.
It's somebody who owes money. Right. So these people, so he called to the people who owe the Most High. Now, who owes the Most High? Who owes a debt to the Most High?
The nation of Israel.
Come on. Now, why do we owe a debt? Just to I'll be surprised if you get this. Why do we owe a debt to the Most High? We just read it in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. You want me to give it to you? Oh, no sweat. Take your time. And anybody in the chat as well, go ahead and get these likes up as well. Get these likes up, get these shares up. Come on, get in here and comment. Come on, let's learn as a family. You know what I mean? Don't be a stranger. I mean, we all black folk in here, right?
Because
Go ahead. What you got, Itazai?
because we didn't hearken diligently unto his own commandments.
Damn right. That's an excellent answer. I mean, the Most High said if we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, that he will put us above all people, on high, above all nations upon the face of the earth. Now, he gave us a land. You know what I mean? He gave us the land that he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I mean? He put us on high above all nations upon the face of the earth. You know what I mean? He kept his end of the deal. You know what I mean? He chose us. He gave us, you know what I mean? He made us a wealthy nation. He made us, you know what I mean, plentiful. You know what I mean? He made us as the stars of the, you know what I mean, the sand of the sea. You know what I mean? He made us a large nation. He kept his end of the deal, but we didn't keep our end of the deal. So because we reneged on the Lord, we owe the Lord. Go ahead. So we the debtors. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, the children of Israel are the debtors to the Most High God. Right? We getting up on a question. Go ahead.
And said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord?
All right. So what do we owe to the Lord before we get to the next verse? What do we owe to the Lord?
On my life.
Damn right. That's an excellent answer. We owe the Lord our life. We owe the Lord our obedience. We owe the Lord everything. I mean, because what do we deserve? What does the Lord owe us? Because he said we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, we'll be put on high. But we didn't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. So what does the Lord owe us? He owes us something.
Death.
Damn right. I mean, the wages of sin is death. Ooh-wee. But that Christian church, they teach you the Most High loves the sinner but hates the sin. I mean, but the Bible says otherwise. The Bible says the wages of sin is death. So the Lord owes us death. I mean, but it said, go ahead, read on.
Kanawankan, and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord? Verse 6. And he said, 100 measures of oil.
So this is the debt. This is the covenant, right? This is the referring to the covenant that we made with the Most High, right? So the first debtor said 100 measures of oil, right? Go ahead. Let's see what the steward say.
And he said unto him, take thy bill and sit it down quickly, and write 50.
Now he said, sit down. You owe 100 measures of oil. What did he say? Take that bill and sit down quickly and write 100. What did he say?
And write 50.
Now write the whole thing.
And write 50.
Now pay the Lord what you owe.
And write 50.
He said write 50. What did this steward just do? He said the debtor owed his master 100 measures of oil. He said write down 50. Pay 50.
It showed him mercy.
No, I wouldn't call it mercy. What he did was, because remember, this is an unjust steward. This is somebody who wasted the Most High's goods. This is the person who cheated the Most High out of what he's owed. So what he did, you want to give it another shot? Okay, no sweat. He's lessening the debt. He's giving you a shortcut. And that's what happens in those Christian churches, where you go into that Christian church and you owe the Lord your life. You done probably just came out of that strip club. You know what I mean? You done just logged out of OnlyFans. You done just you know what I mean, put the blunt out. You know what I mean? I know that was my thing. I would smoke the blunt on the way to church. And right after church, I sparked that same blunt that was left in the ashtray, and I smoked it on the way back from church. You know what I mean? Talking about how good it was to be in church and how connected I feel to the Most High as I'm smoking a blunt. You know what I mean? On the way to get me a Baconator or something. You know what I mean? So you go up in that Christian church and you owe the Lord your life, man. You owe the Lord everything because you broke his covenant and he showed you mercy. But your Christian pastor, they don't make you pay they don't make you give the Lord what he's owed. They shorten the debt. Now let's see. Now do you understand? Now do you understand why that Christian church is so full? Go ahead, read on. Let's see if we you can answer that whenever you got it. But until then, go ahead, read on to the next verse.
Then said he to another, and how much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat.
So this is the same scenario. So he said, how much you owe? 100 measures of wheat. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, take thy bill and write it 80.
You know what a score is?
Like the double.
This is gonna be this is just the language of the time which when the Bible was translated. So it's important for you to understand this. A score, if you don't know what a score is, you can look it up. And let me know what you got.
A group of 20.
A group of 20. So 4 score is what? So he said you owe 100 measures of wheat. What did the steward say?
You only owe 80.
God. So what did he do to him? Same thing. What did he do to his debt?
He knocked it down.
Yeah, you shorten. So what's happening in that Christian church? Damn, that just gave the answer.
He's showing them mercy. So like,
nah, it's not. It's not mercy. Remember, this is an unjust steward. He's shorting the Most High. He's not showing mercy. He's cheating the Most High. Remember that. This ain't about mercy. This is because remember, the steward is about to get removed from his stewardship. So he's not even in a position to show mercy. Like he's about to get removed. So in an attempt to try to keep his stewardship or try to at least stay in the good graces of the people that he's supposed to be a steward over, he's lessening their debt. So instead of they owe the Most High this amount, he's telling them to pay this amount. And that's what's happening in that Christian church. You get it now? So why? Let's see what's next. So I'm gonna ask you again, why? Anybody in the chat as well. Why is the Christian church so full? Even though we over here, we giving you the truth. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible. Sincerely. But why is the Christian church so full? Ian, I don't know if you're still in here. Now's your time to shine. Come on, brother. Come on, sisters. I see y'all in the chat. See y'all checking in. Come on. Let us know you've been in class. Let us know you've been locked in. I ain't been up here talking to myself.
I was gonna say because they got wicked pastors that make it easy to don't know. Like never mind.
Now you was walking down the road. I'll go ahead and give it to you though. Nobody in that Christian church is sincere. Nobody. You feel me? That's why they go to the Christian church. The Christian pastor on that pulpit isn't sincere when he teaches you what he teaches you. When it says, and you already know, in Revelations, the first chapter, it says Christ is a black man, a very dark black man at that, like bronze that was burned in the furnace. He was a dark skinned man, but they have that white Jesus on that wall. The Bible says that the Most High loves Israel and Israel only, like it says in Amos, I believe the 3rd chapter. It says, "You only have I known of all the nations of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities." Even though it says that the Most High only knows Israel, the Christian pastor teaches that God loves everybody. So the Christian pastor isn't sincere. And then the people go in there, and even though they're being taught lies, even though, you know what I mean, again, we've been teaching since 1969. But it's been in movies and TV shows. What was that? I forget what the TV show was. Where that little boy, you know, I mean, this was far before my time, but this little boy went up to his mother or grandmother. I don't know who it was to him, but it was like he challenged the white Jesus that was on the wall. I think one of his siblings that painted a dark Jesus and put it up on the wall next to white Jesus, and the mother got mad. She was like, "Well, get this dark Jesus. This is the only Jesus I know." And she pointed to the white Jesus, and the little boy was like, "Nah, good times, the Most High Christ." But he said, let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Salakia. I'm gonna play this real quick. And this is what happens in the Christian church. And this is what happens in the minds of Christians, in the minds of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who attend that Christian church.
Jesus?
Well, hello, Symbol. And goodbye.
JJ painted him.
Don't think of me, Michael. I had him in the closet where he wasn't performing no miracles for nobody.
Mama, couldn't we at least let Black Jesus hang alongside?
Forget it. The only Jesus I know is him. And the one thing he don't need is a partner.
He said, the only Jesus I know is him. The only Jesus she know is him, which is a white Jesus on the wall. Ain't that something? You know when this show came out? About what time?
I think like the 80s.
The 80s. Good night.
Late 80s.
The 80s. During the crack epidemic, during the drug epidemic, where your oppressor is flooding your neighborhood with drugs and guns and violence, you know what I mean? And locking you up for, you know what I mean, exponential amount of years more You know what I mean? When you're in possession of drugs, then when an oppressor is in possession of drugs, meanwhile, you ain't got no ships and no planes to ship no drugs and no weapons into your neighborhoods. You know what I mean? You what? What? Go ahead. 70s. Good night. So this is right before this is right before the drug epidemic. You know what I mean? Right after, directly after the civil rights movement. You know what I mean? I think Martin Luther King was unalived in 68, something like that. This is directly after the civil rights movement. And you know what I mean? You got a white Jesus on your wall talking about the only Jesus I know is him. You know what I mean? Our people have learned through slavery to valiantly serve our oppressor. You know what I mean? And then it comes out, the truth comes out. You know what I mean? What you said, this is the 70s. The ISUPK been established in 69. You know what I mean? And this is a bedrock UPK scripture that he about to pull right now.
Hush up, both of you. This picture has been in my family for as long as I can remember.
See, this is the problem with Christianity as well. See, you discover that Christ, you've been looking at a white Jesus all your life, but you discover that Christ was actually a black man. But the reason why you still serve a white Jesus is because, let me run it back just a couple seconds.
When I remember, this picture has been in my family for as long as I can remember. Both of you.
The reason why you still serve a white Jesus, even though it's, you know that Christ is a black man, because of familiarity, because of tradition, because traditionally you was taught that was a white man. And
this picture has been in my family for as long as I can remember.
And this image of Christ has been in your household for as long as you can remember. It's comfortable. What's uncomfortable is standing up and putting on the entire armor of the Most High and learning the truth and accepting the truth and you know what I mean, and arming yourself with the truth so that you can stand against the wiles of the devil. That's difficult because you put a target on your back. Once you stand up and say, Christ is a black man and your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, and that Trump is a predator, and you know what I mean, your oppressor is Charlie Kirk, Joel, what's his name, Webbin, is a racist against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and then ICE is disgusting for what they doing to our people. You put a target on your back, and you become an open enemy to your oppressor. But because this image of Christ has been in our homes since before we could remember, since even though we know Christ is a black man, we still worship this image.
When I was a baby, I don't know what I saw first. My mama, my papa, or this Jesus.
That's crazy. She said, when I was a baby, I don't know which one I saw first, my mama, my papa, or white Jesus. That just goes to show how indoctrinated we are as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And this young brother right here has so much courage. When this is what you're gonna have to do. This is what you're gonna have to do. Let's see. Let me get Salakia. But this is what you're gonna have to do. Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. Give me Matthew 10 real quick. Matthew 10 and 35. 34. You know this scripture, right?
Salakia, Matthew 10 and 35.
34.
Salakia.
Well, you should be familiar with this one, right? You go and read it.
Kind of one. Book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on the earth.
No, what the Christian church say is Christ is all peace. Christ is all peace and love and happiness. And God loves everybody, and Christ loves everybody, and the Most High sent Christ to die for everybody. But what did that say?
Think not, think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
See, this is what Christ said. The Christian church says that Christ came to send peace on the earth. But Christ out his own mouth said, I am not come to send peace, but what?
I am not come to send peace, but a sword.
But a sword. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother.
All right. So this is what Christ came to do. He didn't come to send peace. He came to divide you from your family. And when you come to serve the Lord, brothers and sisters, when you come in, especially you brothers, you know what I mean, you become young men, troopers, and Lord willing officers. You know what I mean? The first people that you're gonna have to, when you first come to serve the Lord, you're gonna have to go up against your family. You're gonna have to separate yourself from your family, who believe in this white Jesus because it's been in the family since before they could remember. You're gonna have to separate from them, like this young brother is doing right here.
My mama, my papa, or this Jesus. Now he's the one I know and love. So let's close the subject.
Yeah, he's the one. You see how aggressive she is. You know what I mean? Trying to defend this white Jesus. He say that's the one I know and love. So let's close the subject. Watch what this brother do.
Jesus was black. The Bible would have said so.
But it does say so.
And this is the crazy part. This is the crazy part. This is the perfect depiction of the Christian church and why those Christian churches are so full over there. Because she said if Christ was black, the Bible would have said so, right? And the young brother said, but it do say so. And this is what we do in the ISUPK.
Talking about.
You go right to
I read about it. It's in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. It says, his hair is like wool, and his eyes are like flame of fire.
And this is, I'm glad they put this up there, but they conveniently left out the 15th chapter where it says, and his feet were like fine brass as if they burned in a furnace. But that's what it says in Revelation. So she talking about if Christ was a black man, the Bible would have said so, right? She claimed to stand on the Bible. She claimed to serve the Lord, right? Right? With sincerity. The Christian church claims to be so sincere, right? She just got shown in the Bible where Christ was a black man. Now watch what she do.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So there it go. There it goes. She reading it for herself. So it ain't like, you know what I mean, the ISUPK just talking out the side of our neck like the Christian pastor do. They'll just tell you what the Bible say. Or the Bible say God loves everybody. Or the Bible say Christ died for everybody. Or they say, oh, Christ and God are the same. Right? We'll tell you and we'll show you what's in the Bible and we'll have you read it for yourself. You see these scriptures on the screen, you know what I mean, as we teach in class. And she reading it for herself.
It sure do say that, don't it?
It sure do say it, don't it? Watch what she doing.
And see, Mama, look at that hair, like wool, ain't it? And look at them eyes, red like fire.
Yeah, they sure.
Mama, how do we know Jesus wasn't black? He could have been from the lost tribe of Israel. They were supposed to be black.
I bet they were. If ever people were lost, we're it. If ever people were lost, we're it.
No, they ain't say it. But this is what happened in the Christian church. So we show you what the Bible actually say. And guess what happens? That white Jesus still hang up in that Christian church. They say, I remember I was having a conversation with some Jehovah's Witnesses, man. And they came to the door with this white Jesus. And fast forward, you know what I mean? Of course, I show them, I denied a pamphlet because of the white Jesus. And I show them what Christ was actually looking like. And the brother was like, so everybody we'd have passed these pamphlets out to, they ain't had no problem with this image of Christ. And now you saying Christ is a black man. So everybody else crazy and you right? And I showed him in the Bible. He read it for himself. And I said, yes, y'all wrong. And the Bible is correct. And he walked off as if it was a gotcha moment. I mean, that's how Christians think, because they don't serve the Lord sincerely. You know what I mean? And because of that, you're gonna have to separate from your family. You're gonna have to separate from these Christian churches. And because the Christian churches allow you to go in there and serve the Lord with word, like we read in First John, the 3rd chapter, it says, you know what I mean, to not serve the Lord in with words, but in deed and truth. Lock you. It says, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and truth. That Christian church allows the members of that Christian church to love the Lord in word and in tongue, with their words, with their mouth, with their singing and with their dancing. But the Lord requires you to love the Lord and love his people in deed and in truth. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can get some more. Go ahead, read. Keep reading Matthew 10 real quick.
Come. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Verse 36. And a man's fowls shall be they of his own household. Verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followed after me is not worthy of me.
See, I mean, it's simple right there. Let me get John 11 and 48 real quick. Start at verse 44. John 11 and 44. Yeah, if you come to serve the Lord, you're gonna have to separate from your family, man. You have to separate from all them brothers and sisters over there in that Christian church. You know what I mean? Who want to serve the Lord. If you ask anybody, you can go outside, you can go right out these doors and ask the first 10 people you see, you love the Lord? And they're gonna be like, yeah, I love the Lord. No matter whether they white, black, Asian, or whatever, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I love the Lord. I love the Lord. But so everybody say that they love the Lord. But to say you love the Lord and to serve the Lord in deed and truth is two totally different things. You know what I mean? I mean, even strippers, you know what I mean? Even strippers, they pray to the Most High before they get out there and dance on that pole. You know what I mean? Every nasty Instagram thought, you know what I mean? I'm gonna say that for internet purposes. You know what I mean? They got scriptures in their bio. They will say Proverbs 31, and then they taking pictures with their behind out. You know what I mean? So everybody say that they love the Lord, but serving the Lord is a totally different thing. You know what I mean? Go ahead, read what you got. 11 and 40. Yeah, 11 and 44.
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 44. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin.
So just to give you the backdrop, this is right after Christ raised Lazarus from the dead. You familiar with that story? Lazarus, Christ was told about a brother who had been dead and stinking for 3 days, right? Lazarus. So he went to go raise him from the dead, and he prayed to the Most High, And he was like, I'm praying out loud, not for my sake, because, because he knew what the Lord was going to do. He said, I'm doing this so that the people can know what's going on. And he raised Lazarus about the dead. And that's how we get right here. All right, go ahead, read on.
Yahushua said unto them, loose him and let him go.
Go
Verse
ahead.
45.
So Christ just raised a man from the dead. Go ahead.
Verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and seeing the things which Yahushua did, believed on him.
So he just raised a man out the dead, and brothers and sisters started to believe on him. Now, you know what's crazy? He raised Lazarus out the dead, but you don't see no book of Lazarus. You don't hear nothing about Lazarus after this. Lazarus was dead and stinking for 3 days, and he raised up out of that tomb, and he was just like, hey, the water, hey, and kept it pushing. You know what I mean? He got up out them grave clothes and them you know what I mean, where he was bound and wrapped up, and he, you know what I mean, I guess he walked off into the sunset, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? But this man got raised out the dead. You don't see no book of Lazarus. And there's many Jews which came to Mary and had seen the thing which Christ had done, which Yahushua had done, and believed on him. Right? I mean, what else you gonna do? You see a man raise the dead. What else you gonna do? But believe on him. Well, go ahead, read on.
Verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done.
So a man get raised out the dead, and some of them, many of them, believed on Christ and followed him. But some went to the Pharisees, which was a direct adversary to Christ and the work that he was doing at that time, and told them what Christ had done. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles.
So they see that this man just raised the dead. He was doing many miracles. And you know what they did? They didn't stop. You know what I mean? They didn't shut their Christian churches down. They didn't hand over the keys to their buildings to Christ so that he could have a place to lay his head and to do his work. You know what I mean? Lucky. They came together and said, what we gonna do about this man? Because he do many miracles. That's what your Christian pastors do. That's what Philip Anthony Mitchell, that's what he doing in Atlanta. You know what I mean? He's seeing what the you know what I mean, the ISUPK is doing, teaching the truth according to the Bible. He's saying, what are we gonna do? Because this man doing these brothers is doing miracles. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
So they see. Oh, go ahead.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
See, they're not concerned about raising more people out the dead. You know what I mean? Teaching more people the truth according to the Bible, getting, you know what I mean, making more people free, feeding more people. You know what I mean? Your Christian pastors ain't worried about feeding more people, raising more people out the dead. They worried about keeping their seat with their oppressor. You know what I mean? At that time, it was the Romans. You know what I mean? You still got them same Romans ruling over us today. Now they just, you know what I mean? Now it's Donald Trump. Now it's you know what I mean, Joe Biden. Now it's whatever oppressor they decide to put in that White House. You know what I mean? Obama, which we thought was a black man. He turned out to be a Hamite. The same people who sold us into captivity. You know what I mean? These Christian pastors, they see that the truth is coming out since 1969 in the ISUPK, and they get together. You know what I mean? The IUIC, they the same Christian church. You know what I mean? They see that the ISUPK started out in 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, since 1969 under commanding General Yohana. You know what I mean? We teaching the truth according to the Bible, and they get together and they say, "What do we? But they doing many miracles." And if we leave them alone, all men will believe on them, and the Romans will take away their seat. That's what your Christian pastors are worried about. They're not worried about serving Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in sincerity, giving you a place to stay sincerely, feeding you sincerely, you know what I mean, giving you the truth sincerely, you know what I mean, arming you up you know what I mean, against the wiles of your oppressor sincerely. They're not worried about those things. They worried about keeping their place. They worried about keeping their place and keeping their image up in the midst of our oppressor. Oh, go ahead, read on.
Kind of one con. And one of them named
Caiaphas.
Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all.
Go ahead.
Verse 50. Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
So this is how Christ ended up, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Getting, you know what I mean, fast forward, getting turned over to the Romans. All right, but this is what you got to, when you read things like this, you got to understand that that's what's happening right across the street at them Christian churches, right next door at that Christian church. You know what I mean, a lot of times, especially when you're a young officer, when you're a young man, or you look at it and you like, man, if only they knew who they was. And that's the point, you know what I mean? The whole point is for us to go out and give brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, give up brothers and sisters the truth so that you ain't got no excuse. Let's see, Salaka, let's go here real quick. Let's go to Ezekiel 33 real quick. The whole point of, you know what I mean, the whole point is for us to go out to the people and go to verse 2, Ezekiel 33 and verse 2. But the whole point is for us to go out and teach our brothers and sisters to, you know what I mean, blow the trumpet, to warn brothers and sisters of what's going on, warn brothers and sisters about these lies that your oppressors put out there to, you know what I mean, beguile you and keep you under their foot. You know what I mean? So that way, you know what I mean, when Christ come back, then nobody can say that, oh, I didn't know, I wasn't told. But when you young, you look over there at all them Christians going into that Christian church and just wonder like, dang, we over here, we've been teaching the truth since 1969. Why they flooding that Christian church? If only they knew the truth, man. If only they knew that Christ was a black man. If only they knew that you're not supposed to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. If only they knew that Thanksgiving was wrong to celebrate. You know what I mean? But what you got to understand is they absolutely do know. They absolutely do know. Go ahead, read what you got.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 2. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman.
So that's what you see over there in that Christian church, where they done set a watchman over. They done chose the Christian churches to be their watchmen. But the thing about those watchmen over there is they not blowing the trumpet. You see, again, it's too much going on right now. Where Trump is in for a second term, and he done hit the ground running since January, signing bills that to erase Black history, to teach to remove they call it critical race theory, but to remove Black history from being taught in schools and replace it with they removed Black history and slavery being taught about in schools, and they giving kids Charlie Kirk homework. You know what I mean? They teaching that slavery wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean? You see all these things going on. They got ICE kicking indoors and dragging Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans out of their homes and detaining them. You know what I mean? And separating families from one another. And we still, you know what I mean, want to hear the lies. We still want to hear that God loves everybody. You know what I mean? And that your oppressor, you know what I mean, there is no oppressor. That everything is fine. We still want to celebrate Thanksgiving. We still want to celebrate Christmas and do Halloween and hand out candy. All of these things happening right now, man. Go ahead.
Verse 3. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he bloweth So like he blow the trumpet and warn the people.
So that's what the ISUPK is doing. We going out, we see the sword come upon the land. We see that before, it's so crazy. You know what I mean? Before ICE started to, well, before Trump got elected, we was warning the people like the first thing he gonna do, you know what I mean, is come after Hispanics. You know what I mean? He been talking about building a wall and mass deporting Hispanics and you know what I mean, arresting Hispanics. He been talking about that. That was his whole campaign before he even got elected. I mean, that was his whole campaign, his first term. And we was warning Hispanic brothers and sisters, like, hey, they coming for our brothers and sisters. Y'all come in here, man. Come into the ISUPK, man, so that you can be protected. You know what I mean? And of course, we hard headed. We ain't want to listen. You know what I mean? So of course, during the second term, he come and deploy ICE into Hispanic neighborhoods, mass deporting, mass incarcerating, doing all these terrible things to Hispanic brothers and sisters. And while this is happening, we told black people, you know what I mean, as black people saying that this ain't our fight and we should stand down, this, that, and the third. We telling black people, like, hey, don't think that this ain't your fight. You next. We next. Salakia. But we telling black people, we next. Like, don't get comfortable. Don't think that you safe. You're next. Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the same people. So we blowing the trumpet. And again, you know what I mean? Black people, they ain't want to listen. Black people like, man, black people pretty much trying to build a case on why they should be a coward. And that's really all that was. Like when black people was trying to say, oh, Hispanics ain't never done nothing for us. We ain't, that's they fight. You know what I mean? We ain't got nothing to do with that. That's black people trying to build a case to try to justify doing nothing. Because if you see something is wrong, when you see, you know what I mean, oppression, when you see something is wrong and you do consider Hispanics your family and Native Americans your family, then that means you would have to do something, right? But you have an excuse and justification. You know what I mean? You being able to justify why this is happening to this particular people allows you to have an excuse to not do nothing. So that was the whole point of that. But here we are in 2025. You see ICE is kicking in brothers and sisters, black people, so-called African Americans' doors and doing the exact same thing that they did to Hispanics. And we blew the trumpet before these things even happened. Go ahead, read on.
Come. Verse 4. Then whatsoever hear the sound of the trumpet and take it not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
So if you know what I mean, you don't heed the warning. You know what I mean? When the warning come and you don't heed the warning and the sword come after, your blood is on your own head, man. But go ahead, read on verse 5.
Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall be delivered. Shall deliver his soul.
That's what we was trying to do for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? When Trump is doing all of these things, we trying to arm you up against the wiles of the devil. You know what I mean? The devil is the oppressor. You know what I mean? Devil just means deceiver. And the number one deceiver on this earth is the so-called white man. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 6. But if the watchman see the sword come.
So this is your oppressors, or not your oppressors, black people, especially, you know what I mean, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are still in those Christian churches, still in those Catholic churches, still turning to being a Buddhist or a Muslim or all of these different religions. You want a different type of watchman. This is the type of watchman that those brothers and sisters in that Christian church across your street or next door won't. Read that from the top again, verse 6.
But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet.
So they want a watchman that see the sword, but don't blow the trumpet. You know what I mean? Let me find this real quick. Salakia. Salakia. Read that again.
But if the watchman see the sword come, and not blow at the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I regard, it's like a require at the watchman's hand.
These are the type of prophets, or these are the type of message, the watchmen that, you know what I mean, brothers and sisters in that that Christian church want. So like, let me find this real quick. So like, bear with me. Give me Isaiah 30 and 9 real quick.
Kind of one kind.
You know what I mean, but this is the price of, you know what I mean, listening to those watchmen that don't blow the trumpet. You know what I mean? When those watchmen are removed from their stewardship, when they destroyed, you know what I mean, by the sword that's coming, that the Most High is trying to warn you about through his prophets and the ISUPK. You know what I mean? When you ignore that trumpet and you ignore that sword that's coming, then you're gonna be taken away, and that blood is gonna be on your hand. You know what I mean? Because we did our job. You go ahead and read it when you got it.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 9. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
No, they just didn't know. Read that again.
That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
So you want to know why those Christian churches are so full? They full to the brim, and you can hear the music way up and down the street. It's because we are rebellious children. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, we have become so rebellious in this hell. You know what I mean? Out of fear and out of greed and out of, you know what I mean, the destruction that our oppressors put on us, man. You know what I mean? We become a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. You know what I mean? So it's not that we don't know. I mean, brothers been out on the street corner since 1969. I mean, losing their lives, losing their freedom, losing their families, losing their jobs. You know what I mean? Losing their family, losing their friends, losing their loved ones over this truth, man. Since 1969, man. Brothers been coming in here since young children. You know what I mean? Commander General Yana, I think he came in as a teenager. I think he was like 17 or 18. The General Hyman, I believe he was about you know what I mean? I think he got about 30 something. He been in the truth longer than I've been alive. Oh, go ahead, read on.
Salagi.
Verse 10.
Verse 10, which saith, the seers see not, and to the prophets prophesied not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
So we don't want to hear the truth of the Lord. We don't want to hear the truth according to the Bible. We don't want to hear what the Most High commanded us. We don't want to hear the truth about Christ and the type of man he was. You know what I mean? And what he expected and what he required of us. You know what I mean? We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear the, you know what I mean, our culture. We don't want to hear our law, statutes, and commandments. We don't want to keep our feast days. We want smooth things. We want deceits, man. And that's why that Christian church is so full, man. Not because they don't know, it's because of insincerity, man. So for you to serve the Lord, you're gonna have to be sincere. Or else you're gonna end up hating the people who are sincere. You know what I mean? Especially if you up in here and you decide that you're not gonna be sincere. There's gonna be some brothers and sisters that come in here that are sincere. You know what I mean? You ain't sincere about, you know what I mean, showing up, you know what I mean, fulfilling your office, fulfilling your duties as a priest and prophet, or, you know what I mean, a trooper or a young man, whatever your position is, sister, you know what I mean? You ain't sincere, no sweat. the Lord will bring somebody in here who is better than you, who is more zealous than you, who is more sincere than you. And if you're not careful, if you're not sincere, if you don't find your zeal, then you're gonna end up hating those brothers and sisters who are sincere. You know what I mean? So if you ain't got some courage, you ain't got no zeal, you better find it. You better find that zeal, brothers and sisters. You wanted to say something before we wrap it up?
No, that is true, man.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Then you can just see it too. You can see it, man.
You see it every day. And I'm sure, you know what I mean, the brothers and the sisters, I mean, that's been here longer than I have. I'm sure they've seen it, you know what I mean, 10 times over. You know what I mean? But you can see it. The Lord is bringing brothers and sisters in here. And if you ain't got that zeal, you don't keep that zeal, you're not sincere about serving the Lord, you'll end up, you know what I mean, angry at the brothers. Let me see. Let me see if I get this real quick. Lucky. See if I can find this real quick. I know we rapping. We know we are coming up on the time. Lucky. See if I can find this real quick. So lucky, I can't find it right now. But I'll just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and paraphrase it. But that's what happened with you know what I mean, King David. You know what I mean, before he became King David, he was just little David. He was just a sheep, the sheep shepherd. You know what I mean? He was just a sheep herder. I mean, and all his brothers had went off to, you know what I mean, fight the Philistines. And this you know the story of King David or David and Goliath, right?
Tell them what come.
And you know what I mean, these brothers, all his brothers was trained up in war. You know what I mean, trained since youth. You know what I mean, fought in battles and had, you know what I mean, skin in the game. David just a sheep herder, and he go to bring his brothers, you know what I mean, food. And he bring them the food, and he like, what's going on here? Like, you know what I mean, who is this? Who's this Philistine? I mean, why ain't nobody took his head off yet? I mean, brother, the king has said, hey, whoever take, you know what I mean, whoever take out Goliath, you know what I mean, you get this, that, you get the king's daughter, this, that, and the third, but ain't nobody moving. So King David, like, oh, that's what's on the table? What's going on? Why ain't nobody, you know what I mean, why ain't nobody moving yet? And his brothers get angry. One of his brothers get angry at King David. Or I keep calling him King. At the time, he was just David. But one of his brothers get mad at him. He like, I forget what he said. He said, I know your heart that you like mischief or something like that. You know what I mean? He said, don't you got sheep to tend to? You know what I mean? Because these brothers was, again, they was trained up in war, but they wasn't moving. But David was a man after the Lord's own heart. And he served, you know what I mean? He believed in the Most High. You know what I mean? He had, where he like, you know what I mean? He knew that the Lord was with him. And if the order was to do this, he like, all right, let's get it. You know what I mean? But he had that zeal, and you know what I mean? And he was sincere about serving the Lord. His brothers was, you know what I mean, because they didn't have the same courage he had, you know what I mean? They ended up, you know what I mean, feeling some type of way because of his zeal. Instead of when they should have been applauding his zeal. Because he ended up, you already know the story, where he ended up being the one to take Goliath's head off. And you know what I mean? You fast forward, then he became King David. So, you know what I mean? Just remember that, you know what I mean, when you come to serve the Lord, man. and being if you know what I mean, you could come up in here, and a lot of times, you know what I mean, you already said you've seen it. You know what I mean, brothers and sisters come up in here, they get a name. You know what I mean, sisters come up in here, they real zealous, and then they get that name, and then they leave, or they get a name, then they get a husband, and then they leave. You know what I mean, brothers come up here, they get a name, they might get some rank, then they leave. You know what I mean? That's just what's gonna happen if you don't come into the truth and you don't serve the Lord with sincerity. Then you know what I mean, you just gonna be the next brother or sister to leave. All right? You can't have brotherhood without sincerity. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and pass the class over to you know what I mean, Trooper Ike Zakabar.
This is the ISUPK security announcement. We are the ISUPK, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. My sharar means 10th in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. The Feast of Tabernacles, 15th day of the 7th month, 8 days, starting from Sunday, the 5th of October, through Monday, the 13th of October, 2025.
If I could, Salaki, we in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles. We opened it on Sunday, and the closing is gonna be this. You said Monday, right? The 13th.
Con.
All right, so make sure y'all mark that in your calendar, you sisters. You know what I mean? We gonna have to prepare. You know what I mean? You already know how we do every feast day. You know what I mean? But make sure y'all mark that in your calendars. I know this time it's a lot of feast days back to back. I think we had the Memorial blowing the trumpets, and we had the Day of Atonement, and then directly after that we had the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles, and then we got the closing. I know it's a lot back to back, but you know what I mean? It's all worth it, and it's all, you know what I mean? It's all pertaining to us, so we should all take it, you know what I mean? Take it seriously and be sincere about it. All right? Go ahead, Slacky.
Con. You can find it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 34 through 44. Closed Feast of Tabernacles. Remind Akim and Aguaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway if anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. This concludes the ISUPK security announcement.
With that, we'll say Imadium, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. We visit Ramad Shabbat. Imadium. Right. Yahal Ba Shimi Out Shah Rock Stone. Yajimata. Sorry, we're going to turn it 50. Visit Ramad Shabbat. Imadium. Right. Yahal Shamar Ladan Ba Shimi Out Shah. Yajimata. Let's